What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. It's nice to be a part of people's big days, especially their weddings or birthdays. I get to do a lot of corporate events as well. This weekend I'm doing an 80th birthday party. It's a surprise. Shh, don't say anything. What are the chances that they watch this? Uh-oh. No, it's good times. Lots of good times. All right, speaking of good times, today on the program, I have James Carpenter. And what? What do you mean you don't know a lot about James Carpenter? Well, you're going to find out more in the next few minutes, so stick around. This week's shows, I have one public show where I do the video dance party karaoke jam, and that's at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Come on out and join us. Won't you join us at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas? Video dance party karaoke jam on Friday nights from 8 until 8 until 12:30 in the AM. The people got to be out the door by 1. But it's a good time. 4.5 hours of action packed. It's a little concert starring each and every one of you. Yeah, you get to sing a song. All kinds of music, all kinds of fun, all kinds of people just hanging out and loving together. Full bar, kitchens open, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night, I encourage you to check out the pool tournament. Hey, you can make some money while you're waiting to sing a song right next to me on stage. And yeah, there's dancing. Oh yeah, there's dancing. That's the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. Friday night, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. All right, that's enough intro. Let's get into it with James Carpenter. I got him on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version as well. Skyping James Carpenter now. There he is, James Carpenter.
Okay, all right. We got some.
James Carpenter travel. I like it, man. Let's start right off the bat. Are you a traveling man?
Hey, I'm a traveling man. I love to travel. Definitely. They're all over the world. It don't matter. Just getting out of the house and going and leaving my neighborhood. That excites me.
Well, James Carpenter travel, and I'll keep calling you James Carpenter Travel because that's the brand. That's the name and what he does. That's the name and the game. How about that? All in one sentence. But James Carpenter, maybe you'll give the people an idea of who you are.
Okay, well, my name is James Carpenter. I am from East Chicago, Indiana. I grew up and went to Central High School, graduated. Afterwards, I went to the military, served my country for 8 years, active duty. I enjoyed it, got a chance to learn some things, grow up and mature. While I was in, I got out after the Gulf War. I had several tours of duty, 2 tours of duty on active duty. Got out, went to St. Augustine, Florida. Met this wonderful lady who messed up my haircut a couple times. And then I let her cut it over and over again. I was patient with her, and we ended up getting married. 12 years of marriage after that. And then, 2 beautiful kids, which are now in college to this day. So our relationship, we grew apart, but 2 beautiful kids, one going to be an engineer and the other one is going to be a psychologist. So I've been working on marketing. I do hurricane shutters on my full-time job, but my JC Travel was something that I was involved in. I was introduced to it by a friend of mine. I love traveling. I love going places, and I decided to get involved in the travel industry and market it because I found a group of people who had the same type of interest. And so what I did was I connected with them, and really the fun part is just connecting with like people love to travel. Just excited. You say the word travel, it just brings the blood pressure down, stress levels down. It just produces endorphins in the brains, and so we get excited about travel. So I love that. I decided to become a part of that. I was doing a little bit of marketing, and I met Katrina, and Katrina from Cost Travel. She is just so awesome. She reached out to me and told me she wanted to help me expand my business, bring some customers, and I just posted a couple things, and really not so much about travel, just really trying to build a rapport with people, because social media was something that I really didn't do. But anyway, she brought me into contact with some people, started helping me market, and then there it goes. JC Travel is one of the things I'm involved in right now.
Well, I say, Katrina Tehador, definitely nice lady, and it's cause marketing that she's into, and I appreciate her for getting us together and putting this, I get to talk to people and learn from people, and I could see that your voyages in the Army are, even though that there was hardships when you went to Iraq, and I appreciate that you went there, and I'm sure my listeners are thinking the same thing. I appreciate that you did that, fighting for our freedoms, and we could talk about the politics of that if you'd like. How you feel about going to Iraq, but did that instill the love of travel for you? Because you do go over there primarily. You have a job, but you do get to go see some people and meet some people and see different types of people. And what gave you that? Did that help to instill your love of travel and the want and desire to get other people into traveling as well?
It actually did. I tell you what, even though there was some hardships, Dan, I tell you what, it brought an appreciation for travel. Because one thing about it is just saying over there in the Gulf War, the life of some of those people, they lived hard. Everybody would think, oh, they're living good and this and that. No, a lot of people lived hard lifestyles, and in the desert, sleeping in tents, 135 degrees. And so, just going that gave me appreciation of what we have in the United States that so many people take for granted. I mean, we think it's hot, we think, 90 degrees is hot, 100 degrees is hot, but 135 degrees, and people living that year round, 135 degrees, 120 degrees, 110 degrees. I mean, wow. I mean, it's just crazy. So yeah, I grew an appreciation, and some of the foods that they had to eat in a camel. You got to get one of those damn
camel burger.
A camel burger. Yeah, it was. Because if you look at a camel is a ugly looking creature. It's, to me. That's my opinion of it. Some people might think it's, but found myself just for the sake of GP. Hey, let's go get a camel burger. And I tried it, so it was kind of tough, but it still worked out. So it worked out. I digested it. I didn't die, and just talking with the people and sharing their culture and this and that expanded my love for travel. Just watching how other people and they have different forms, how they eat, how they live, their family values, their dress code, it's just a whole different culture. And so just, being in the military, I had a great appreciation. I got a chance to go to Germany, got a chance to go to Italy. The lifestyle is so much different than what we have in the United States. They are pretty active people. They do a lot of walking. They do a lot of cycling. They do a lot of, you would think that, hey, you can travel. You got good roads, and actually, but they actually, to be honest with you, they do a lot of walking. They eat pasta in Italy and things like that. And but you know what? They do a lot of walking. They're physically fit. They're active. They have family values. They sit down with their families at the dinner table and eat dinner. That's a very important bonding process, And I believe in the United States, we've kind of gotten away from that. So, just the love of watching other and connecting with other cultures. That just expanded my love for travel. And They have places over there in Germany, the Black Forest, where you can go skiing. Never got a chance to go, but and to this day, I've never got a chance to go skiing. But I want to get on the kiddie slopes, Dan. So my love for travel has definitely, the military actually has instilled me a love for travel and connecting with people who like to travel. That's one of those things.
I'm not a well-traveled person outside of these United States. I've been everywhere south of the Mason-Dixon, I guess. I really haven't traveled north of that. From D.C. out to California, and all points in between. I've done that kind of traveling. But you've had the privilege and the honor of traveling outside of these United States. People think, hey, that house is 100 years old. Oh my goodness, that is so old. You go to Germany, you go to Italy, you go to France. Some of these things are 5, 6, 7,000 years old.
Yes.
I mean, what did you appreciate? And you've already told me that there's food that brings people together. If one thing about different cultures, when you go travel, you want to taste their food, and that helps to instill, not to be punny, but the flavor of people is in their food. So tell me about the travels. Tell me more about this camel burger, because I really need to get one. Is it huge? Because I always thought, maybe I'm fuzzy, but I thought Muslims were primarily vegetarian, but I guess not all of people in Iraq are Muslims, and they have to feed other people that are there that are not vegetarian. Am I right? Am I wrong? When what did you learn about that culture?
Well, yeah, there is some that don't eat meat, just like in the United States. You have your vegans, your vegetarians, your people, and then you have people that eat meat. They eat a selection. So there are certain meats that they won't eat. Some of them wouldn't eat beef. Beef is a unclean food or nasty food or whatever. They wouldn't eat. But we eat beef commonly in the United States. So a cow is considered unclean, and I'm like, wow, that cow looks good to me. The bigger, the better. But in their culture, it's just a whole different story. So you have something. People over there, they just have, just like us, they have different classes and groups of people who they're selective on their diet, their dietary needs, and how to eat in the culture. And some of them is birthed out of religious values. Some of the religious values are different. And they say, of course, in their religious value, don't eat this or don't eat that. And they follow those dietary laws according to their beliefs. So, but I got a chance to eat a camel burger. It was kind of a little tough. It took, for people who eat, let me see, not liver, but I was thinking about a food. Not liver is not
Gizzards?
always gizzards. Okay, gizzards. So it was a mixture of, say, liver and gizzards, but it was a little chewy, and you chew it a little while. You're not gonna chew it in 1 or 2 bites. You're gonna chew, and then finally digest it. It was pretty much a solid patty, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
You're making me a little bit homesick, because I know that you're in Daytona Beach. I'm from Miami, born in Miami, raised in Fort Lauderdale in the Florida Keys, which is where Keys Dan comes from. But man, I spent a lot of time in Daytona, and I lived a year in Orlando. And the only way to go to the beach in Orlando is to drive an hour out to Daytona, and then use Daytona Beach as beach. But do you spend a lot of time? I mean, give people. Well, I want to go with now what you're doing in Daytona, but I want you to travel back to Chicago as well. There's another town that I've never been to that I would love to be a part of. From what I understand, the closest I ever been, I think before I was 1 year old, I spent time in Indiana, somewhere in Greenville or Green something, Indiana, and that was the closest that I've been. And so I guess I did spend some time north of the Mason-Dixon, but I haven't, I don't remember it. It was before I was 1. But tell me about what are you doing in Daytona Beach, and how was it growing up in Chicago, and what are the difference between the two, if you can remember?
So actually, Dan, I actually grew up in East Chicago, which is actually in Indiana.
Okay, now, there you go.
It's on the border of the Indiana-Illinois borderline, actually. And then once I crossed, I was 10 minutes from the border. So once I crossed the border, I'm in Illinois, and then I got family south side of Chicago, north side of Chicago, this and that. So I'm right there on that borderline. They have like East Chicago, North Chicago, South Chicago, and then they got a place called New Chicago now. And so it's just a lot of people that know that, but it was like, wow, I was like New Chicago. So, just even looking on the map, I didn't even realize that myself. But, they created a New Chicago. So that's something historically for people to go visit and go see. But I tell you what, it was great growing up in East Chicago. I thought, growing up, and I guess a lot of people do, that is the greatest place in the world to live, Dan. I thought that East Chicago was like the bomb and this and that. There's nothing like being from East Chicago. I believe that that really, I thought, I was in LA or somewhere. You couldn't tell me no different, growing up. For the most part, growing up with good parents, well, my mother and father divorced, but I grew up, my grandmother, my mother, good spiritual people. And I'm going to tell you what, growing up, we really, when people talk about neighborhood watch, we had what's called neighborhood watch. It was everybody, there's a statement that people say, it takes a village to raise a family. I'm going to tell you what, that's exactly what happened. If I was doing something bad, my neighbor or somebody could say, hey, I caught you doing something, you better stop that. Or they can even spank me if they need to chastise me. And if it was reported back to my parents, I'm gonna get in trouble. So, I had to kind of live somewhat a good life in front of people because you never know who was watching. I had to go out, sneak off, and do different things when I, behind closed doors or kind of isolated events. Because it could be reported back to your parents, and now you get chastised twice or 2 or 3 times in a day over the same incident. But we had fun. We grew up. I tell you what, loved basketball growing up. Got into football growing up. Going in my high school years, I got into cross country and wrestling, and I loved that. Matter of fact, I was one of those people that they were like a Forrest Gump. I used to run 10 miles and just run behind one of my cross country coaches. He actually had me running behind his Buick Riviera. And so he would ride and he would train me. The first year of my cross country school year, because I started running. And later on, I became the best runner on team, set records and everything. I'm telling you, I was like Forrest Gump. And I loved it. But at first I thought, I said, well, this guy, how is he going to train me? Well, he was training me on how to push myself, riding in the Buick Riviera. And we're riding and we're running over bridges and we're following him behind the car, And that was the training to push myself. So, and that was before the military. So I kind of already had a certain discipline, even when going to the military, to push yourself, to be all you can be, take it to the limit. So I love doing that. I love going up basketball. I grew up. I was made to go to church. It was mandatory, But one thing about my church growing up is they always had coffee and cocoa, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go just so I can get coffee. We need to be there early so I can get some coffee and some cocoa, and that was a beautiful thing. But I had good people around me, surrounded. I grew up not too far from where I stayed, maybe less than 10 miles, maybe about 10 miles or so, Gary, Indiana. And I got a chance to visit where Michael Jackson lived. But before that, my father and my grandmother and them, they used to babysit Michael Jackson at the time, And they used to talk when they were very little. They taught them little dance steps, and then they moved away and they went to Detroit and they went off to LA and they went off to do whatever they needed to do. But I grew up and I've been to his house where he lived at on 2500 Jackson Street in Gary, Indiana. So I lived, for me, I lived star life and growing up in a small town in Chicago,
Yeah,
It
James
was,
Carpenter. You said Gary, Indiana, and that's the first thing I think of is Michael Jackson. That's the biggest thing that ever came out of there. I think David Letterman and maybe John Cougar might be from somewhere around there. But no, when you say Gary, Indiana, you say, oh, Michael Jackson. That's absolutely correct. But that's
yeah.
fantastic. Did you have that little brush with greatness? You know, whenever you go visit, you get that feeling. You know, and we have those brushes with greatness, and you know, but in our own way, we're all kind of great at something, and you're great at something, man. But being born and raised in East Chicago, you know, you start to develop an affinity for it. You grow, you live, and you feel like, huh, that's got to be the best place ever. Well, I thought the same thing about Miami, and I know that traveling, you find other places that it's what is it? It's oh so nice to go traveling, but it's so much nicer to come home. I've heard that song before, but funny, we're about the same age. And when you said New Chicago, my family's been rewatching Buck Rogers in the 25th century, and when he goes 500 years into the future, he goes to New Chicago. So as soon as you said New Chicago, I went, huh. Buck Rogers. I've been watching that show just now. But, Chicago's got so much flavor in it. Did you spend a lot of time going into the city as well? I mean, you went, I guess, east to Gary, but did you go west into the heart of Chicago and spend time listening to some of that good music?
Oh yeah, I tell you what, I really appreciate a lot of the festivals. I'm gonna tell you what they used to have. Definitely the Pepsi and the Coke challenges. They used to have festivals all the time. I mean, and they just wanted to taste because it was always a rivalry between the Coke and the Pepsi festivals, but they always had something downtown. We had a place in Jewtown called Polish Sausages. Jewtown was actually a place where they had a lot of sidewalk sales. And I don't see that a lot today, but they used to bring things out of the stores, and you walk down the sidewalk, and everybody, from the stores or even private vendors were on the sidewalk trying to sell you everything. Like if you see on TV the guys talking about you got to watch, they would open up their jackets and next thing you had a watch. He had a bunch of watches, 50 to 100 watches hanging from their jacket. What you want, I got what you want. If you need a radio, you can get everything you wanted over there off of Jewtown. And I'm telling you what, it was just amazing. The festivals were amazing. That was amazing. Food, some of the greatest Polish sausages that I had in the world were from Jewtown. And then they had some great hamburgers. They had some hamburgers and they put mustard on them. They had no ketchup, but they put mustard and onions, and they sauteed the onions. And man, I got hooked on sauteed onions and so it was just so many different things. The Navy Pier is definitely a place to look at, for people who like to go down to Chicago. And then I've been to what they call the Willis Tower, but it used to be called the Sears Tower, which was one of the tallest buildings in the world. But it's on the list now. There's more. They got more in Dubai. They got more, in New York and other places. But the Willis Tower now, great place to go and see and work, and you can see everything over the city, and it's just a beautiful scenery. So I mean, there's just so many riding the train, getting on the train and going through the city and just riding. It's just a beautiful thing, I mean, it's just there was concerts, there was a lot of different things to go see. It's always pretty much busy. It's a little Chicago is actually a little small, what they call a little small New York,
Mm.
So you got 2 million people in Chicago, you got 8 million, 9 million in New York, but it's pretty much the same, a city that never sleeps. I mean, you can go, and if you want to get pizza at 3 o'clock in the morning, you get pizza at 3 o'clock in the morning, which they got some great pizzas too. Tony's Pizza. One of them.
Shout out.
Hey, shout out to Tony's Pizza. But here in Daytona, if I wanted to get some pizza at 3:30 in the morning, it's kind of scarce. You better wait until breakfast. You better wait until they open the next day. So it's a lot different in comparison. Chicago and Daytona. One thing I like about I like about home that's here is like even now it'd be in November. Well, you got a little chill there, and then later on when we wear our boots for the chill, we're wearing boots because we need to wear boots. You need to warm up. You got your scarves. You know, we know that you're going to get opportunity to wear your winter clothes and you're going to bundle up. Right now over here, you got people wearing boots and wearing skull caps and women wearing, I mean, they're dressed up because it's really a fashion statement. You know, they might have shorts on with boots. You know, I mean, you got shorts with boots. It's a fashion statement. So it's a little bit different here. Been seeing the snow. I love snow. What I did like then, I didn't like shoveling snow. So we had to put cardboard over our windows so that the windows wouldn't freeze up. That's one way to kind of alleviate once it snows. You know, the cardboard actually sucks away. It suctions on to underneath the windshield wipers, and you put that on there, and it actually stops your windows from freezing up. And so that would help so that you wouldn't be, you know, you wouldn't have to spend so much time scraping your windshields. At least in the front, you know, you could do it in the back too, but putting them underneath your windshield wipers, that was a great way to put it. You know, also putting some cardboard underneath your hood, the hood of your car, that kind of helps a little bit. And actually taking little hand warmers and putting them underneath the hood of your car actually kind of helps it from freezing up, because some of the hand warmers actually last for about 8 hours or so. You know, some of them 5, but you know, if you put them on at night, then you got a little warmth, and it won't completely freeze over your radiator and everything. So I learned the little tricks growing up in Chicago. I felt like, you know, what's the mountain man, survival man, being there and here, and have a greater appreciation. The snow is awesome. I love it. I took my kids there about 10 years ago. First time they saw snow, they were amazed because they were born in St. Augustine, Florida. And I took them to East Chicago. We had a great time. Snow was on the ground. It came fresh snow. They went outside, made snow angels, waddled in the snow, started eating snow, made their own snow cones. And, you know, I was concerned about them getting sick, Dad. But the truth is, they enjoyed themselves. And I mean, they didn't have gloves on, but they were excited. And you know what? I was excited about them being excited. You know, there's nothing that can compare to the memories of your family being happy. And that's one thing I like about it. You know, the memories that I had, the memories that I spent with my family, and memories that I spent with my friends, the memories, you know, there's nothing compared. Money compared to those memories. You know, money goes and comes, but memories are always lasting. And that's one thing I like about travel as well, memory.
James Carpenter, you're watching things through their eyes, and you're seeing it for the first time as well. You know, you were talking about Chicago and New York. I don't know if you remember this comedian, Richard Jenny, back in the 80s. He had a show, one of his specials was called The Boy from New York City. And he said he likened Chicago. These are people from New York that thought, oh, I like the crime and the congestion, but it's just not cold enough. Let's go to Chicago. You know, it's just not cold enough. You get all that crime and congestion just like New York, but colder. You know, and I guess because it's inland, you don't even get the sake of a breeze. But the only thing I really know about Chicago is from watching the Blues Brothers. And my brother was my little brother was in the Navy, and he went to Great Lakes to do his training. Did I say that wrong? I might have said it wrong. It's possible. But, you know, okay, my goodness, you're already developing a love for travel with your kids. Even those jaunts from Florida to East Chicago, you're giving them a taste of, oh, it's different. It's not the same degrees all year long like I thought it was in Miami and South Florida, in the Florida Keys. I thought it was 70 degrees all the time, everywhere. Yes. But then I moved to Arkansas, central Arkansas, and it does snow for about 3 or 4 days. That's enough, man. That's enough. I don't like it. But you're giving me tips. I got to get some cardboard before next month when it starts to get really, really cold. My goodness, you're giving people tips. You never know what you're going to learn here. James Carpenter. Tell me more. Give people more of an idea of through your travels and how you've helped other people in their travels. How can you help other people to travel where they've been dreaming about? Maybe stuff they saw in a movie, or maybe they saw a poster. Venice. I wonder how to get there. How do you help them get there?
Well, one of the things is, I'm my website on jctravel.com. I have a little bio of myself, but I was involved in a company called iBoomerang, and I'm involved now. And iBoomerang is a key company because they provide different aspects. They help you save money on travel. They give you your own personalized travel site, and pretty much they have 110% guarantee. So if you find somebody within 24 hours, Dan, if you were to go and say, I want to go to Venice, Italy, then you can go search Venice, Italy. But if you find something where cheaper within 24 hours, they would actually give you a refund of the difference, and so they would give you a refund of the difference. So it's 100% guarantee, not just a price max. So they would give you a 10% on extra on the of what it's going to be. So $100, $100, and somebody else had it for $10 more. Well, you're going to get that 10% extra because they were supposed to beat that price. So not just price matching it, getting that extra back, that extra 10%, before your trouble since you found something else. So they try to keep you honest, be competitive. You get your own personal travel site, each customer that signs up, and I can also send some links out. But you can have flights, hotels, you can have vacation packages, you can have cruises, you can have you can go to Airbnb. You actually have different places like say you're in Miami and they're doing a boat show or a concert. You can look up on your back office and find out what is going on for the month. If you like to sign up and get tickets, you can do all that in your back office. So right now in Daytona, you can go on the site and we have certain things that'll tell you about the money. It doesn't list everything, but we have a lot of things that's going on here. They actually have tickets, like, for example, we have a strongman contest. This came to my head actually Friday. We have a strongman contest at the city, the what is it called? The center here, the Ocean Center, excuse me. The Ocean Center. We're having a strongman, those things that you see on TV. Well, that's going to be here right here on Friday. So those events and certain things, you can look at the back office, see what's going on, purchase your tickets instead of going to some other travel agency. It's kind of like a one-stop shop for what you want to do in your back office. So that's one way you can have that event. You can live that event. You can look at it. We also have a group that you can be involved in, and you can get in there and connect with other people and get testimonials of people who've been certain places that you like to go. Ask questions, get previews. Also, before you take your trip, if you want to, you can talk to the concierge and say, hey, look, I want to know a little bit about Venice or Rome or this, and you can actually call customer service. They'll give you information. If you wanted to even take it further and you said, like we use in Venice, Italy, if you wanted to say, I'd like to get a tour guide, they can set you up with a tour guide. There's just awesome opportunities where people can get that chance to travel and have experience, those experiences, the moments, So it's a great way for people to connect, great way for people to actually make your dreams come true. Because I'm getting ready to do the same thing. So I'm not just talking this. I'm talking about something. I'm living this. I'm making plans. And, you plan a year out, 2 years out, wherever, you want to go to Israel, Egypt. One of my places is Dubai, Dan. That's my dream place. And Dubai is not, I can't just take my piggy bank over there. So I found out a little things about Dubai now, but I'll be traveling, probably next year. I'll probably sometimes I'll be going over to Dubai because that's my dream spot. So I told myself before the end of next year, Dubai is on my dream list.
Oh man, you're talking about strongman competitions. I like watching those, man, because it's big, fat guys like me that are picking
Yeah,
up just some crazy stuff, and then they're off to the side eating a camel burger. That's their training. I'm gonna have a camel burger, then I'm gonna lift 5,000 pounds over my head.
right.
Those are amazing to me. But talk about traveling. It sounds like what you're talking about people like myself who don't have a lot of disposable income, and I really have to plan ahead if I want to make those trips. Set some aside. Do you help people with the finances to where they go, hey, how much do you have to set aside if my goal in 24 months is to get over to Indonesia or definitely Dubai with their tall buildings? Isn't that the one with that's the tallest towers now in the world, right?
Yes, yes, Dubai. They have the tallest towers in the world. Yeah, and so we also we and I will have to see check back, but we had programs set up where some of the people can actually put deposits on some of their trips, and that allowed people to save money, put a deposit down, kind of hold your trips. Some of the trips were kind of more exclusive, and or else we talk to people and help people. Hey, look, why don't you put so much in a fund over here? Have yourself a travel fund, set up a bank account, and this will be for your dream vacation. Try not to touch it. I don't care if you have to put $5 away or $10 away each week. You planning next year. Hey, take yourself. You're worth it.
Yeah.
Extra money.
Actually, James Carpenter, you are so right. You're making an investment in yourself, in your future, in your dream, in your plan. Like you want to buy a car, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a washing machine, you want to go on vacation. You got to save away. You got to put stuff aside. And yeah, if you had a way to where you had a layaway plan, because I worked at Kmart for a while, and I know at Christmas time people didn't have a lot of money to be buying stuff outright, but they'd put some toys in the layaway and pay a little at a time, and by Christmas time, bam, they got their toys for the kids, for the good boys and girls, but yeah, a nice that's a real good thought, is the planning ahead and putting stuff aside. But you were talking about I want to talk about your spirituality, your religion, that you were born into it. Yeah, I was Catholic when I started. I went to Catholic school, so I went to church quite a bit, and I got the Catholic Church has got its own things, but I did explore around. What faith are you in, and how do you explore that faith? Because I know that's a big part of your life. In fact, tonight I was thinking about, hey, maybe we could do this a little bit earlier, and then here, you had stuff to do, that you had some spiritual food to consume tonight. Tell me about that.
Okay, so yeah, so initially, Dan, actually, we have something in common. Uh, Growing up, I went to a Catholic school actually, and so I had to go, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord be with thee in this place. Blessed be the mother among all living, and I had, and so I would actually. The funny thing about it is, I started off there in kindergarten, going to Catholic school. And I'm gonna tell you what. One thing I can say, that there was a lot of organization and structure in my life, which I needed. And then the other thing, there were some of the meanest people I ever met, Father John and Sister Mary. But they said, you are going to get this right, and I would get there, Hail Mary, full of grace, and I would tell them we got to pray before we eat our food, and so they would let me pray. Well, the funny thing about it, I messed up about 12 times, and they was like, "That's good, that was good," and they just ready just to start clapping. Good, you good, you good, And I was like, "No, I got to get it right." But the Roman Church growing up, they wanted me to, they were kind of diehard, and they wanted me to get this right, even though I was in kindergarten, and that was a good, organized way of, like, man, prayer is important. And so, I, even though it was strict, prayer was very important. And I never forget that. I said, wow, prayer, they really wanted me to get this right. So for whatever reason, that foundation right there I get carried on later on in my life, and to this day, right now I'm involved in a non-denominational. Well, we call it it's interdenominational. We have people that came from a Catholic background, who came from Methodist background, Lutheran background, Church of God in Christ. We had people that used to be Jehovah's Witness. So we accept everybody. So it's an interdenominational, pretty much church. So we don't really claim a denomination. We just believe in Jesus Christ. People that believe in Jesus Christ, like, we just come on, let's fellowship. Well, tonight when you call me, we're actually having a prayer connect group. We have connect groups, and what they do is we have different ones. So tonight's connect group was actually a prayer group, and people needed prayer, and they got prayed for, and we think people instantly get healed and progressively get healed. We had people that got prayed for 4 weeks ago, and the pain finally is coming down from a 1 to 10. It was a 10. One lady's, her pain was a 15. But anyway, we've had people go down to a 2 or 4 or a 0. We had people instantly get healings today, and so we've been encouraging each other, not just physical healings in the body, but also emotional healing. I'm hurt. I've got anger in my heart. I feel I got low self-esteem. There's something on the inside. I don't feel like I'm worth anything. I don't feel like I'm loved. I'm mad at my mother for giving me up for adoption, or my father for not being there. And actually, we got healed. And I mean, I'm gonna tell you, Dan, it's a that emotional connection that we have to each other, and we want to see each other do good. We go out and reach out. Tonight, we invited the whole community out. We invited our church, all of our church, and we invited them to invite the community out, and people came out, and it was just a great fellowship to see people living healthier, happier lives, and that spiritual support. That's what I get through my life. I couldn't make it without having a spiritual base. I've done 4 tours of duty in the military, Dan, and those 4 tours of duty are facing the dirt and getting shot at and this and that and bullets and everything else. I wouldn't survive without Jesus Christ. So I have to give credit to God, not because of me, but my faith actually reminds me that everything that I've been through, every struggle that I face, is not for me. It's to go out and share and inspire somebody else and let them know you can make it too. So I'm not here for me. I'm here because I'm on assignment to be an inspiration for other people. And so I give faith and credit because I've done some crazy things in my life. I used to love speeding, and I would try to speed demons and try to make sure I was going 100 miles an hour in a Honda Excel 1.2 engine, going downhill. But, crazy as it was, I'm still here. I'm here by the grace of God, man. So my faith is definitely big in my life. It teaches me how to love people unconditionally, despite of who they are, what they've done. I'm not a judgmental person. I've learned to just love people where they're at. And we may be on different levels. We may disagree on some things, but as a human being, I believe that God created you, and I'm supposed to love you, and you're supposed to love me. And the connection to my faith has made me have an appreciation for other people.
Hey, it's not lost on me that your name is Carpenter. I mean, that's not, that's definitely something, but it sounds like you found a good fellowship. One of the things that I've enjoyed, exploring my spirituality, going to different churches and the Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah, I was in there too back in 2000, and I learned about them, and I learned, white Baptist, black Baptist, Jewish synagogues, and even some Muslim stuff, and just learning. But the thing that is like the through line is that that fellowship. There's always that fellowship. You find people that know that person next to you, that person that's there on the screen, that's my brother. That's my fellow man. That's a person that I need to be beholden to, that I need to be taken care of. If first you take care of yourself, make sure that everything's straight with you, and then try to take care of somebody else. And that's another thing that I get to do with this What Makes You Famous podcast, is I get to teach people about other people. I get to have good conversations with people like you, James Carpenter. Now, once again, we're about the same age. I'm born in 69. You're born in 71. And it sounds like we had similar upbringings with similar mamas. My parents were divorced, but I think either just after or just before I was born. But my mom never let me get away with anything. My grandma, my grandpa, those were the ones that really took care of me. They really helped to raise me. And yeah, I had a shoe throwing mother, spoil the rod, that or spoil the child and spare the rod and all that biblical stuff. I definitely, but we were the kids that played outside. And I can't get my daughter to go outside for nothing. She's on her video games. How come I was on my bicycle playing in the Everglades, eating alligators, and jumping alligators with my bicycle, back in the day? I mean, I'm guessing that you played outside too. What is it that one generation, from us to the next generation? Do your kids play outside at least?
My kids, they do go outside. They were not as active as I was. And I'll tell you, I think one thing that happened is the technology. I think that's drawing a lot of people. People get addicted to technology, but we were addicted to going outside then. I mean, inside was punishment. Outside, staying inside was punishment. All you had to do, you're not going outside to play. And, we ready to throw a tantrum and cry and like we're sad, we're depressed because we're inside. So nowadays, this generation, if you tell kids you're staying inside, you're not going out there like, yay, hooray. So it's a difference. But we used to go outside to play the football, the basketball, and just thinking about my schedule, I didn't stay outside a lot. Just like, so now we got time change. Getting off school about 2:00, 2:30, 2:45, had to spend an hour, 45 minutes, get your schoolwork done. And then, you can go outside and play and then, you got to be ready for dinner. But me, this is the funny thing. And a lot of people who, from our generation can relate to this. I had to be inside before the street lights came on, and so when I saw a street light, I don't care what I was doing, the street light came on. I said, wow, so the street lights didn't come on all at once. There would just be one pop on. And then after one pop on, a couple minutes or a minute later, you had another one pop on, another one pop on. But before them street lights came, when you see that one street light, you better be booking and hightailing it to the house. And people was like, wow. So now that wasn't with everybody, but that was my upbringing. I had to be, so I had to enjoy whatever couple hours I had outside playing with my family, my friends, and so because I had to be back home in a couple hours. I know I got to be in the house. We're gonna sit down and eat dinner as a family, which is something kind of missing now. And then I could watch TV. I had structure. I could watch TV for an hour or an hour and a half. Then after I had to be in bed. 9:00, TV off. Take your bath, go to bed. So there was a lot of structure in my life that I don't see in the generation right now. And some of it is our fault. We kind of a little bit more lenient on them and let them have a little bit more liberty. And like I say, this technology is amazing nowadays. You can reach more people than we can reach. Me, I was glad just to play Atari. I had that little Atari set, and you can play Atari for 30, 45 minutes or maybe an hour, and then you had to get off. But now people spend their time on video games 2, 3, 4 hours, and it's an addiction, or social media, I mean, so there's a difference right now than our generation back in then, and we have an appreciation. We're more active, we're more physically fit than they were. I think we're more healthy than they were. And, yes, it's just those factors that right now I see our children, it's never coming back. Not with all this technology coming out, social media, the networks coming out. It'll never be the same, Dan.
Well,
that will be the same.
I'll tell you, James Carpenter, I'm guilty. I was playing Fortnite before I started talking to you. What was your game of choice on Atari 2600? Mine was Defender.
Okay, so I used to like Galaxy. And Galaxy, it was one of my games, and Pac-Man. I would love Pac-Man. I still love Pac-Man. And I did like it. I would have to go to my friend's house because he had Donkey Kong, and Frogger and things like that. So I would those games would be like some of my games. But Pac-Man probably would be one of my favorite, and Galaxy would probably be my second one.
Well, yeah, Pac-Man, he's eating dots. And we already talked about you like to go all over the world and eat. Eat whatever dots they got, whatever dots they offer you. So that's fantastic, man. James Carpenter, you've told the people a lot of things. Any other avenues you want to explore, you want to let people know about, or any shout outs you want to give to people that have helped you along the way?
Well, definitely. So I would say this shout outs wise, Michael McTaw, they're a great inspiration in my life. Michael McTaw has been awesome. I mean, he introduced me to the business, and that was the birth of JC Travel. Very supportive. That's my brother from another mother, and definitely shout out to Michael McTaw. Pat Devereaux is another one. He's a mentor. He came down. I was going through kind of a hard time in my life, a hard place, and kind of mourning, going through some grief because I will end up getting a divorce from my wife, and I tell you what, when you love your wife or whatever the case is, or you love your spouse, you love somebody and they're not with you anymore and you decide to, whatever the case is, it's heartbreaking. I'm man enough to say it, but I definitely, Pat Devereaux is definitely Jim Carpenter. I actually got it. Okay. So let me tell you this, Dan, I got another guy I met at my church. His name is James Carpenter, and he is an Italian guy he's Italian from New York. And I met him, and he was an usher at the church, and he says, "Hi, my name," but he goes by Jim. He says, "My name is Jim Carpenter." And I said, "For real?" I said, "Well, my name is Jim Carpenter." I was just joking. And he says, "What?" I said, "Let me see." And so I showed him my ID. He pulled out his ID. His name was James Carpenter, just as mine. And actually, we set it off. We became great, great friends to this day. And that's one of my closest friends now. So shout out to James Carpenter, Jim Carpenter as he goes, and DJ, DJ Carpenter. I mean, they've been great inspiration in my life. And, you need people like that. Even my pastor, Joseph Devereaux. I mean, he's been an inspiration in my life because when you go through hurt, you don't know how much you need people until you need people, And growing up, I was there for people. And then when I got my divorce, it was kind of like a dark spot. And I'll be honest with you. And then there were certain places I didn't let people know how hurt I was. I was good at thinking like, I'm all right. But deep down inside, I was hurt. And beyond that, I got a chance to connect, like I say, my pastor, and definitely a blessing in my life. I needed him there. And, to this day, check on me, everything go okay with you, everything going good. And, yeah, I'll be like, okay, this is going to keep me in your prayers. I'm going through this or going through that. So definitely a great guy. I got another guy that's pastor up in Jacksonville. Pastor Jackson, he's been an inspiration, Real Life Ministries up in Jacksonville, Florida. Great guy, real. He'll tell you his story. He'll tell you about it is. They don't try to be perfect. And they're just telling you, hey, look, this is my story. I went through a lot of hard times. And, I'm still striving for perfection, still pressing toward the mark. I'm not perfect. So those guys, I really appreciate them. Then I got Glenn Keltos, and he's actually helping me on a new product. He made a vow to help me on a project that I'm working on. So one of the things, so let's talk about that, Dan. One of the things I'm working on is a group homes in the community. I see a lot of homeless veterans, Daytona. I see a lot of homeless veterans in other places. I've traveled around and I've talked to them, and they say they're veterans, and I say, wow. So some of them I actually looked up information, and they are veterans. I've seen even some of them. I've seen their veterans card, but they're homeless. So it was on my heart to really help. And right now we have group homes. We have Steadfast Love Group Homes. You can look information up steadfastlovegrouphomes.com. And that's something that we're reaching out mainly to veterans, but we're reaching out to people who don't have housing, and people are disabled. We also expanding now so that we can help women. We can help. There's a lot of women that have domestic violence issues. They stand in a situation and taking abuse because they have no other way to go, no other where to live. And so we're working on providing housing and connecting them so they can get out of that situation. Because some of them are scared to leave, but some of them said, I don't have any place to go and I don't want to be homeless. So they accept abuse, not because of they think it's acceptable, but they said, I just don't want to be homeless. So and we're working on that. We're working on some also, some people that they grew apart. They had divorces, and the spouse got this one, and the other spouse got this one. And there's a lot of people that ended up homeless, have no other place to stay. I talked with one lady, and and unfortunately, she wasn't married, but she was cohabitating with a guy for 10 years. He was her fiance. Well, y'all should have got married. But long story short, they were together for 10 years, and all of a sudden he dropped her for another woman. She didn't work. He worked. He had all the income, and now she's struggling to provide for herself, doesn't have any experience in the job market, and used to him taking care of her, and so found her homeless. So out of that, my heart birthed, and I want to do something. And so Steadfast Love Group Homes is going to be a platform for people that can that need housing, in the communities, and we're gonna assist them if they need to get their benefits. We're gonna work on some team camaraderie, some trips to the movies, some recognition days, some karaoke, going to some concerts, going to some museums, and just helping people who want to have a life. Whether you're married or not, even as a single person, you can have a life. You can enjoy life. A little small trips. We're gonna go over, get some rooms over on Daytona Beach and do some barbecues and things like that. We can do a staycation. For those of you out there, hey, travel far, it's always a staycation. Staycations are pretty fun too. Just getting out of your element. So that's some of the things. That's one of the things that I'm involved in now, and I'm working on. I reached out to the mayor, made some phone calls, and reached out to some of the ministers and the leaders of the city and elders, and we're working on how we can help and make a difference on housing people, helping the whole man, helping them get housing, helping them get healing, helping them get whole, helping them get physically fit. There's some people out there, matter of fact, I'm connecting with now, who just called me earlier. One guy, he's facing depression, and so I have a Black Card membership at Planet Fitness. Shout out to Planet Fitness. And so I have a Black Card, and I can take him for free because he's underneath my membership, and now he is feeling better about himself. We've been working out for about a month and a half or so, maybe a little bit under a month and a half, a little bit over a month, and he's feeling better about himself, has better self-esteem, looking at himself in the mirror, standing more erect and tall, has confidence, has posture. And you know what? That just makes me, it does my heart warm just to see that. And one thing I have in mind is I'm going to give my money. I'm going to donate some gym membership to people. Maybe pay a couple months gym membership. If that makes you feel good, makes you feel whole, makes you feel sexy, or whatever the case may be. If that can bless people's life, that's a small thing to do. Because that's a priceless thing. So, my group homes, definitely that I'm working with, Michael McTaw, my partner, and mentor and brother in Christ and all that, definitely been with me on that. And then also, I'm also working on another thing with cryptocurrency, Dan. I was actually involved in cryptocurrency. A lot of people kind of shy away from it, but I invested $8,000, a little bit over $8,000, and I made $17,000 back. So my investment, it works. There's different cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, the Bitcoins, there's NIOC and some new BSB, Binance. There's all kind of little ways to make money. And some of these are actually where you could make money as you bring in people, kind of like a multi-level marketing deal. And some of them you can just make your money on your own. It could, but either way, opportunities to make money if people wanted to make money. So I'm there. I'm a believer in it. I feel this way, Dan. Instead of letting my money just sit in the bank and make 0.1% interest, why not take a risk and put a little bit of money aside? I bought some BSB, $420, and right now I'm looking at about $800 in my account. But I invested 120, and I'm close to $800 right now. So you know what? It wouldn't have done that just sitting in the bank. And I spent a little bit over a month. But you know what? I'm grateful for that. I made money. Can I take my money out? I can take 40% of my money out, which is good enough, and let the other money grow. Continue to make money. So I believe this is a saying that I say on the street: get your money fresh. Get your money to have babies and grandbabies and great grandbabies. Don't put contraceptives and birth control on your money. You got the opportunity to make money. Make money. Don't let little money stop you from making big money. Sometimes the fear of the unknown will stop people from making, bigger money than they could make. Sometimes it could be a small thing. Sometimes it could be credit. If you get your credit right and you can flip a house, you can do something, get your credit right, pay those bill collectors off. And then now the little money that you're paying from that could lead to a bigger thing. So I'm involved in that. I'm involved in a couple, investments, and I'm looking at even with the some stocks. So I'm looking at some of the things, wisdom. I'm watching President Donald Trump's and some of the things he invested in. I'm watching some of the things, Nancy Pelosi. I'm watching some of the things. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. If they're investing in it, then you can invest in it. And you don't have to be a millionaire. It just takes a little bit to grow, and it just takes a small amount that you invest, and that amount can grow and grow and grow and grow and snowball into something great. But you got to start from somewhere, Dan. So right now, that's one of the things those are a couple of the things I'm involved in. And there's a lot more things I have that I'm going to do. But, it will take me. That's why I got to ask the Lord to let me live to 200 years old so I can get some of those things done. But I'm going to be sponsoring, or going back to, I'm going to be anybody that's connected with me. One thing I like to do is have people have fun. So there's going to be some times like I'm going to have some raffles. I give away gift cards. I want to send the people on a vacation, go to the Hilton for a night, whatever the case is. So, definitely get connected. Get connected with me. Get connected even with the people that like to travel. Get connected with some of the travel groups on Facebook. They have travel groups. They also, another thing, they have single travel. Have some single group travels, and they go on vacation as single. You never know. You look for a spouse and like-minded people. You never know where you're going to find. So I'm involved in all of that right now, Dan, and there's a lot more I want to do in my life. Helping college students, helping underprivileged people that came from the projects, that's in a situation that don't have mentorship. I'm not a perfect person, but I can be a mentor. I can kind of give people guidance at this point in my life. I've been blessed by God, and I do have something to offer the world. I do have something to offer people. And I love to see people happy. So, this is it. If anybody needs, prayer, a talk, want to laugh, I'm that guy. I can do that all day. So those are some of the things I'm involved in right now. And, people feel free to reach out to me, call me. Hey, I'm going to be trying to come to your city. I'm inquisitive. I need to come over there where you at, man, because I what's going on. I want to find out what kind of nice restaurants and venues you got over there. And, hey, I just want to see another place in the world I haven't seen. I want to make sure before I pass away, I see as many other 50 states and some of the other places that I haven't seen in life, before I leave this earth.
James Carpenter, just in the last 5 minutes, you've given me so much to unpack. Wow, that's fantastic, man. A lot of people have, and myself included, have a fear of the unknown, and that Bitcoin and stuff like that. all money has been made up. We just have to bet on which money is going to be the strongest. And you're betting that, the Bitcoin is going to help to make you some income that you can use to turn around and help somebody else. I mean, that's a beautiful thing that you have that in your heart, that you want to give people gym memberships to make them feel better about themselves. And the steadfast housing, I was looking it up, and I think the first thing when you look up steadfast group home, at least on my Google, it says something about Hawaii, but it sounds like steadfast housing is all over.
Okay. So actually, excuse me, I might have mispronounced that, Dan. Excuse me about that. Steadfast Love Group Home. So let me pronounce it correct. I said that wrong. Steadfast Love Group Homes it's a smaller venue. Steadfast Group Homes was a bigger venue, and that name was taken. So I got excited there and mispronounced, but Steadfast Love Group Homes, because one thing I said, so maybe one thing we wanted to be is about love. People come, they have a home, they feel loved, they feel appreciated, they feel like, hey, I'm in here and somebody cares about you. We don't just want your rent money, we want to help you live your life. We believe that I'm 50 years old. Mm-hmm. I believe at this point the rest of my life can be the best of my life. There's so many hardships and struggles that I had, and at this point, hey, I'm living my life. I'm mentally prepared. I'm getting myself physically prepared and emotionally prepared. So, it's all about living your life. I don't care how old you are right now, the best of your life, the rest of your life can be the best of your life if you allow it to be, and get connected with some people, and so when you come to us, we want to find out what you want to do for the rest of your life. We want to find out what your vision is for your life. A lot of people look at big business leaders or pastors and what's your vision? I want to know, what's your vision? What do you want to do? What do you want to do in the next 5 years? What do you want, God lets you live this long. What do you want to do? What would you like to accomplish? And how can we help you make that happen? What's your dream trip? What's your, some of the foods you would like to go to and eat, or whatever the case is? Has anybody ever made you your favorite pie or whatever? I don't know those things, but we want to help you live a quality life and show you love, and love that comes from my heart, the love that comes from God, directed to you. And, God gets all the glory. You're my brother, you're my sister. Hey, let's connect. Let's have fun. Let's live our life.
You'd be surprised at how many people are 1 week away from being homeless, and all it was that one paycheck. You had that 1 week where you didn't have any income coming in, and bam, you're homeless. And your organization could help them with that 1 week, that little push, that little boost to help them get back on their feet and get them into a home and get them into a place to live. Because that's half the battle right there, man. You living on the streets. You see the people on the street corners, and I know we have panhandlers here in Arkansas, and you see them and you go, man, why are they there? And they're standing right in front of a Home Depot that has a help wanted sign, but there's got to be a reason why they can't go to that Home Depot and get that job. Maybe they just need a simple a bath, maybe. It's something simple as a new set of clothes, just to get them there. And I know that's what you're going to be doing with this endeavor that you're doing with the Steadfast Love Group Home. I appreciate that so much, man. All the riches that this country has, where we can give billions and billions to other countries. Our people should, at least the people on this dirt should be taken care of as well. There shouldn't be a homeless population. With all the money that we throw all over the world, we should be throwing some of this, to our part of the world as well. I think it's just I don't know, maybe it's to make us look good to other people in the world, other parts of the world. Hey, they gave us $1 million. We like those Americans now. Well, the Americans here need some homes too, right? And you're gonna be helping with that. All right, man. We gotta wind this thing down. I've already taken a lot of your time. And you made me hungry through this whole thing. So I need to get some food in my belly. But James Carpenter Travel, that's the main way to get a hold of you. Well, where else do you want people to connect with you, and how what when they slide into your DMs, what are you open to? Help with the with the traveling, of course, but also with the group home as well, or what?
Definitely help you with the travel, help you with group homes. Definitely, if you want to know about cryptocurrency, I'm involved. I'm not a genius. I'm not a genius, but I'm connected with some people. I'm connected with people who made 300,000 and up, and then so I have connections to people that can actually give you some guidance on who are connected to me, and they can help you. Even if you needed some financial counseling, I'm connected with some millionaires and some people they're already where I want to be at in life. And so if you need it, and if you need prayer, if you need something, you need somebody to talk to. If you need a recommendation, where you want to go, I'm here. I'm kind of open. As long as nothing perverted, we good to go. I'm down to earth. You can give me a call and we can talk. My phone number is 386-290-8910. That's my direct line. And I'm open to helping people reach out, to communicate. If I can't talk with you right then, because I have a lot of people pulling on me for a lot of things, I'll make some time and talk with you. One thing, Dan, is and I'm not a medical professional, but as a result of some of the experience that happened in my life, I was able to help some people, to detour, I say help, or detour some people from committing suicide. There were some people ready to give up on life, and so I've been there. I've been depressed. I've been through hopeless moments in my life. And, and so as a result of that, I could empathize with them and let them know and share my testimony and get them through the process, and they can relate. And, people, decided not to do that. I believe it's because of that. Maybe they weren't going to do it anyway, but, it was some people told me I was getting ready to end my life before I talked to you. So I'm here for you. I'm primarily, focused on my travel and my group home and then my crypto. But, if you need anything, I'm down to earth, and just give me a call, reach out. And if I can do anything, or if I can refer you to somebody that can help, I'm not, I'm not Google or Siri, one of them people that know everything. But if I can get you connected to somebody who can find answers to what you need, hey, I'm a servant. I believe this. And this is a scripture that I believe from the Bible. Who he wants to be the greatest in the kingdom, let him be your servant. So I don't want people seeing me. I'm not trying to get in the news and the media, the fame and the fortune. A lot of things I do are behind the scenes. Nobody will know about. So I believe I'm a great person, and I want to be a great person in the sight of God because I serve people and I love people.
Yeah, sometimes all it takes is just a word, a friend, a shoulder to lean on, and that's what you're going to be, is that shoulder. We need to be that for each other. I appreciate that so much, man. James Carpenter Travel. I don't want this to be the last time we talk. I mean, I'll keep following you around on your social media. I already sent you a friend request on your Facebook, so I definitely want to keep up with what you're doing and help to promote whatever you're doing as well. And I want the listeners to get in contact with you. People that attempt suicide, they get a lot of attention. Ooh, a lot of attention. But the people that are sitting depressed, they don't get hardly any attention at all. They get shunned. They get pushed aside. Oh, that guy's just depressing. Push him aside. So they figure, oh, I need to attempt suicide so I can get some attention. No, don't do it. Don't you do it, man. That's... you're a wonderful person, James Carpenter. I'm glad to know you. I usually finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be, words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. James Carpenter Travel. Give the last words for the people.
I'll say this, for those of you out there, I'm gonna tell you what. Everybody has you were designed, you were created to do something great. And so you may not feel great, and some of you may feel great, but there is some greatness in you, and there is something that's bigger than yourself. So the dream, keep the dream alive, keep the hope alive. A lot of my plans and I'm gonna use this example. A lot of my plans for COVID, since COVID-19, that evil person happened or thing happened. I tell you what, it was kind of shattered some of the things I had planned. But you know what? Keep the hope alive. Stay patient. Stay humble. Connect with people who are going in the direction that you want to go. And there is nothing that you can't accomplish. Life is short. So just like in the military, be all you can be.
Well, there you have it, party people. James Carpenter, James Carpenter Travel, jamescarpentertravel.com. Check it out. Ask for it by name. And find James Carpenter Travel on Facebook as well. You can connect with him personally on his socials. He'll teach you about the cryptocurrency. He'll teach you about how to help the homeless, or if you are the homeless, how are you on Facebook? How are you listening to this? Well, homeless people got phones, they just don't have homes, okay? And people, we need to take care of each other. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to put homes together by myself, but my little bit and his little bit and your little bit, and we all put in that little bit, and after a while, everybody's got a home. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Oh, James Carpenter, man, you got a lot of irons in the fire. I thought it was going to be a travel show. I thought it was going to it started off there. It started off, that's what you're doing. That's your job. You'd also do the storm shutters. I know you mentioned that in the beginning, and hurricane shutters. And yeah, being in Florida, yeah, hurricane shutters is a good idea. Get your hurricane shutters from James Carpenter. And then travel someplace when that hurricane's a-coming with James Carpenter. And then if you need a home, go to James Carpenter. Or if you need some spiritual friendliness, some brotherhood, some fellowship, go to James Carpenter. There's a lot of things you can go to James Carpenter about, and I'm sure there's so much more. I appreciate it so much, man. Thanks for being on the podcast. James Carpenter Travel. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, I'm turning my attention to you, would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.